Hi everyone, this is Kayvon, and background noise keeps ruining my attempts to make this video, so hopefully this is going to work out this time. The first thing I'm going to say is that if you notice that my eyes look really heavy, it is because I am exhausted, because I did not get much sleep last night, and it is also because I am somewhat dissociated, more than usual. In the time in between my last video and this video, I endured a serious trauma, one that I am not going to go into details about here, but one that caused me to fragment. I am still Kayvon, but I am in more pieces than I was before, and I am doing my best to recover and reintegrate back to the state I was in before. But if you notice that I seem flatter and just exhausted, all of that is why. The reason that I'm not going to go into details about it is truthfully because I know that I am not in a place to deal with the victim blaming, unwanted advice giving comments that I will receive. I don't expect everyone to even handle what I have just said just now appropriately, but I know that if I go into details, people will pick apart my vulnerability and make it harder for me to heal. So what I'm doing is I am simply reaching out to those who I know well enough to feel safe to trust with the information, with what happened. I have only so far disclosed it to one person other than my partner, and I will be possibly just containing it between those two people, but not sharing what happened with anyone who I don't trust, not for some time. If I do choose to speak on what happened in a video, it will be at a later date when I am more healed. So this all being said, the reason I have titled this video as Healthy Coping is because I am starting my Healthy Coping Challenge again. That was the video that I intended to make after my last one. I actually had another one I was considering making, but I'm not in a place to make it now after what's happened. So I decided just to go ahead and start doing this now. One of the hardest things for me is to continue doing what I've been doing already to cope, now that I have just incurred more violent trauma. But now is the time to be practicing coping the most. And now is definitely not a time for me to stop speaking out online. So I'm going to keep making videos, and I'm going to move forward with my videos about coping. And without going into details about the trauma I just endured, I'm going to talk about how I'm coping with it. And I'm going to talk about the things I was going to talk about before. What I was going to do before this happened was I was going to go through various things on the coping list that I made for my Healthy Coping Challenge series when I was doing it a few months ago, and talk about them in individual videos and what my relationship is with the coping tools and what I'm doing right now and what my goals are. And so instead of posting every day about what I'm doing with various tools each day, I'm going to post when I can about individual tools at a time. So the first tool that I was going to talk about was listening to music. This is something that I cannot safely do a lot of the time because it activates programming. My brain just automatically, when it hears a song, has a tendency to repeat it over and over again and to create dissociative walls that basically appear to simply be the song itself played on a loop. And so that means that I have to be very careful with what music I listen to and very careful not to listen to music that has too many triggers. I have to also be careful about when I listen to music and in what state I'm in. Right now, because of what just happened, I'm not in a place where listening to music would be a good idea. So I'm not. But what I'm doing is I am allowing the music that I was just listening to before this happened, that was helping me cope, to play in my head and to be comforting to me. And I'm trying not to reinforce it to where it helps my system build dissociative walls that are destructive. But just when the music plays in my head, I'm reminding myself of the beauty within it, and of the joy that is expressed in it, and of the spiritual nature of it. And there's one song in particular that I'm focusing on right now, and I'm going to put a link to it in the description below. I'm going to put a link to a few songs actually in the description. These were songs that I was going to link before when I was planning this video, before this trauma happened. I'm going to go ahead and put some of the songs in the description now. And the one that I am focusing on is called Not Unlike the Waves by Agalock. And the reason that it is helping me is that it really brings me in touch with my connection to my higher powers. I have shared that I am a pagan and that I connect deeply with the earth in meditation and energy work on a daily basis. And this song really connects me to my love of nature. It has a reference to Norse mythology. While I don't follow Norse mythology too closely anymore, as that can actually be a trigger for me, I find it beautiful, and I find the energy of the song just really takes me deeply into a place in myself that's healing. So, like I said, even though I can't listen to it right now because I don't want to activate myself further, and that part of me that grabs onto music and repeats it over and over again to dissociate me, I am allowing myself to think about the beauty of the song, and it just reminds me that there's something beyond my trauma. It reminds me that there is a God, and that what just happened to me and all the violent traumas that have happened to me throughout my life are not all that there is. That's something that I think goes to the heart of mindfulness for me. For me, mindfulness, I'm sorry for the sound of the siren. That's very triggering for me. I'm sorry. But I'm just going to finish what I'm saying here, and then I'll end the video. For me, mindfulness is about not shutting out things that are painful, and it's also about not focusing too hard on things that are painful. Rather, it is about giving things that are painful their space, while simultaneously holding in awareness things that go beyond the pain. So for me, it's not about shutting out the trauma, and it's not about overwhelming myself with the trauma, but it's about holding a dual awareness of the trauma and also of a higher power. I hope that makes sense. Okay, that's all I'm going to say for today. Thank you.